Greetings, everybody. Keith here. Hoping everybody's having a good day, enjoying life, living life, loving life. Coming to you this early morning. To talk about expose. Depose and dispose as it relates to disposition and all of that kind of stuff. Etymology is a wonderful thing if you learn how to use it and learn how to do your research and go back to the origins of things. And so before we do that, this is something I've exposed before. What you're looking at here is the Iowa Courts Online electronic docket record search. It's a home page or a secondary page to the home page where you're going to do an appellate case search or a trial court case search. And we click on the trial court case search. I had a bench trial. And under the name search, they give you this box here. First box is an option. And it says last/firm name. I told you when I got a definitive paper form copy of the financial index, it showed that the use on that instrument was not the last name, which I've always provided, but in fact, it was converted through that provision to the firm name. And when we saw that, it only showed the first four letters of the last name, and they were all capital letters. When we enter in the little, it comes up little. Okay, so we entered the last name. Not a robot. Search. And folks, there's 94 cases here that are under that little Keith Orland. They're all on this part right here. They're all little Keith Orland as the name. The title is different. Even though it's in all uppercase, the name is the last name. That's the conversion of the upper and lowercase, which is the family name, to a military style. Latin always had all uppercases. It didn't have lowercase. English had all lowercases. It didn't have uppercase. It was an adoption by England or English to take upon the uppercase characters, and it was an adoption by Latin in return to take upon the lowercase in their modern uses and expressions and styles. The languages change over time. That's all it is. But in this matter, 12/21/2021, in the matter of the jury service of Keith Little, this is the new one that I didn't know about because it came about within this last 7 years, and I've never had any contact. I've had no communication through an identification of any sort with these particular people. So when we click on this case, it says, in the matter of the jury service of Keith Little. First of all, I want to let everybody know, I want to see that contract for jury service. I've never registered to vote. It's a requirement in order to serve on a jury. And just because you have an identification card of some sort doesn't mean that you're automatically part of that selective service. That's still another presumption that's put in the record that people take upon because they believe what they're told. Selective service, guys, signing up for the military is not required. It's only a requirement if you take upon the option of asking for a benefit of medical assistance and higher education assistance, wherein entering the military, that is the exchange. They provide all of your medical and all of your education. It's part of the service contract. So on this particular selection of jury service, I want to see the service contract, wherein they properly used the selective service number for that jury. Case 01071 CBCV, civil, 144311. So they've got a code in letter form, and it's bonded to a set of numbers, knowing that this code says it's civil, so it's a civil bond. Okay? In form, that is a civil bond. It's symbolizing a civil bond. Got a number on both ends. Blackhawk, and this is the summary. Originating county, Blackhawk, 12/21/21. Created. That right there is a false entry into the record. It is an alteration of the style of the name that I've used all my life. I have never once written the name in all uppercase letters. I've never been taught to. Disposition status, as in expose, depose, dispose, disposition status. No disposition records were found. Okay. Go on to the next one. And I've got copies of this stuff printed up so that I can present to the mayor here soon. The mayor, the city council, the county commissioner, the county attorney, the city attorney, the chief of police, the sheriff, state marshal, state secretary, secretary of state, adjutant general, the governor, Bureau of Consular Affairs at the Department of State at the U.S. level, federal level, U.S. attorney, state attorney. I'm going to shout it out to everybody. They've all taken part in handling and holding these records. They have to either admit or deny, one or the other. So let's look at the finances. Remember, we spoke about financial records. These are financial records. They gave me a financial index when I told them I needed a copy of all the civil and criminal cases. Right on it said financial index. Financials, title. So it is a title. In the matter of the jury service of Keith Little, case number, cost 0, fine 0, surcharge 0, restitution 0, other 0, support alimony, zeros across the board, not applicable, not applicable. The next one, remember I said, I showed you, it says right here, title, right? Right here it says long title. And right here it says long title. In the matter of the jury of service, or in the matter of jury service of Keith Little, no long title found. Now I don't know who's the idiot, but I do not think it's me. Give me a witness, please. Next, bonds. Bonds posted. In the matter of the jury service of Keith Little, no bonds found. Bonds posted. Postal. Jury service. Is that a postal service? Do they expect me to step up and post shit? And act like a false military poster? An imposter? An imposter? Who's insane? Me or them? So under the bonds, there's nothing. Long title, there's nothing. Financial, there's nothing. Summary, there's nothing. The only thing left is way over here. So, wait a minute, disposition. Isn't that in the summary? Disposition status, no disposition records found. Criminal charges. Disposition. Charges, disposition, sentences in the title in the matter of jury service, Keith Little. No charges found. So let's look at these filings. Filings. In the matter of the jury service of Keith Little. CVCV 144-3111. Blackout. It's the same stuff. Docket number. Event. It's a record of an event. Order to issue. Public bench warrant. Dreyer, Andrea. Remember in the video earlier I talked about the local judges and stuff, and Andrea Dreyer was one of those. She's the one that filed this judicial officer order. She's the one that ordered it according to a military command. And she was supposed to do so in respect to the commanding general. Oops. The commanding general is the director of the International Bureau. Oh. She's trying to use local policies and shit of municipal orders. Comment. Bond set. Bond placed. Remember in the etymology of set upon and place on and this and that. To make. It was created. She made it. She said it. Bond set at $350. United States is the one that's obligated for all bonds, not me. So she created an obligation of the United States in a false presentment, clearly in on and for the record. And I have definitive paper forms in multiples. Converting this electronic record to a definitive paper form. Order to show cause. Order to show cause to call me for jury duty. There was no service. See, personal jurisdiction can't be had unless the court can only obtain personal jurisdiction through proper service in the court, in the state in which the court sits. And the defendant needs to voluntarily appear in court because he's not subject to the service. He isn't served properly. He isn't served in person. That's a voluntary thing until it's deemed necessary by the board. And the selective service is responsible as we said earlier, 32 CFR 16024, area office, national defense, other regulations relating to national defense selective service system. According to the record, there is a selective service number for Keith Orland Little. And all I got to do is go to an online site, which is what I'm going to do here when I get done here. Like I said, I'm printing up documents. I'm publishing shit that's in the public domain. I'm doing it for free of my own charge. I'm charging nobody. Area office, not the district office, the area office. Again, it's a military in regards to national defense. The field is the area of play. Selective Service Office, which is responsible for all administrative and operational support for the one or more local boards within its jurisdiction. It is a military law. It's martial law. Known as General Orders. Number 100, the Lieber Code. Instructions for the government of armies of the United States in the field. Article 10, which falls under the Treaty of Berne, protecting literary and artistic works, says martial law affects chiefly the police and collection of public revenue and taxes, whether imposed, Article 1, Section 8, Clause 1, Congress shall lay and collect taxes, duties, and imposts and excises by the expelled government or by the invader, in father, in greatness, and refers mainly to the support and efficiency of the army, its safety, and the safety of its operations. Selective Service is responsible for all operations and administrations support for the one or more local boards. 5 CFR 575.102. Set of definitions again, wherein we talk about agency means. Agency, executive agency, or legislative branch agency included in 5 U.S.C. 5102. You can search that. Authorized agency official. That's that resident. No person shall reside within the zone except federal, state, or municipal officers or agents. Officials or agents whose resident presence is deemed necessary by the board. The board in that situation is highlighted, blue lighted, or highlighted, blue line, underlined, and it says the board consists of the Secretary of Commerce as the executive chair and the Secretary of State, the remaining chair. Those are the authorized agencies and officials. Secretary, secret area, the acts of being secret. That's privacy. In that privacy, you keep throwing everything out there in the public. This is the violation of King James Version, Matthew 18, verse 15. It's supposed to go to your brother in private. Competencies means the knowledge, skills, abilities, behaviors, and other characteristics, personalities, an individual needs to perform the duties of a position and not a ad hominem. Do not let them disposition you by calling you names. You are not the name. The name and its number identify the record. The name is only an indication of a calling. Jeremiah 1 is Jeremiah's calling. Before I formed thee in the belly, before I placed you in that position, I knew thee. Federal government means all entities of the government of the United States, including the United States Postal Service and the Postal Regulatory Commission. This would be the Board of Commissions. The United States Postal Service is a part of the Selective Service. You can select it if you want. You can appoint it, you can assign it. It is a service. They are the agents that are obligated in duty and hold liabilities for failure of performance. This stuff is getting sickening, folks. So let's go back to the order to show cause. I want to see the service contract. Let me see here. What did I say? I want to see, we require a prior made service contract in complete and valid form. Anyway, that's all I got for now. I'm still working on it, folks. But like I said, this is what I'm doing. People say Keith doesn't sleep. No, I don't. Sometimes. But I'm not going to let them pull this shit on me. And I'm going to, in doing so, I'm going to show you people how to stand for it. And it's only through proper knowledge my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. 18 USC 1519. Learn it, folks. Don't let them falsify the record. Do not partake in falsifying that record. Quit entering false data elements that you don't know what you're talking about. Make sure you know what you're doing first. Quit believing. Don't believe me. Don't believe your neighbor. Don't believe the government. Don't believe your mother, for crying out loud. Learn how to do your research so you know. This is discernment. This is the path of experience and wisdom. And that's the only way to be able to learn. And it's only through learning that you can then turn around and teach. Otherwise, you fall to the biased intellect of the vocabulary that you use, which is babble, causing the next one to fall to the same shit. Remember, folks, I love you, but I don't give a fuck whether you love me back.